The sacred circle glowed with wolfsbane and silver dust. Marcus stood at the altar, his amber eyes fixed on the bride approaching in white silk. Celeste moved with practiced grace, every step perfect, every breath measured. Then it happened. A gasp tore from Luna's throat as she held her sister's train. Fire erupted in her chest. Not pain, but something else, something that made her knees buckle. Marcus's head snapped toward her, his pupils blown wide with shock. The ceremonial words died on the elder's lips. "Begin the marking," Elder Thorn commanded. But Marcus remained frozen, his chest heaving as if he'd been running for miles. Every muscle in his body had oriented toward the wrong sister. "Marcus?" Celeste's voice cut sharp. "What are you waiting for?" But his eyes never left Luna's face. When he spoke, his voice was raw, strangled. The bond moved. The moon changed her mind. The clearing erupted in chaos. 3 days earlier, Luna's fingers trembled as she adjusted the final pearl on Celeste's wedding dress. Tomorrow, her sister would wear it. Tomorrow, the prophecy would be fulfilled. Strange things had been happening to Luna lately. When she walked through the gardens, birds would fall silent mid-song. Moonlight seemed to linger on her skin even in daylight. And sometimes, when she touched silver, her fingertips would tingle with electricity she couldn't explain. Still mooning over what you can't have? Celeste's reflection appeared in the mirror, sharp as winter frost. Luna kept her eyes on the dress. "Just making sure everything's perfect for your big day." "Good." Celeste moved closer, and Luna caught something in her sister's scent. Not just the usual confidence, but something else. Fear? Because after tomorrow, he'll be mine in every way that matters. There was desperation in those words, barely hidden. "The prophecy chose you," Luna said carefully. "You were born for this." Celeste's laugh came too quick, too bright. "Exactly. Born for it. Raised for it. Never given a choice in it." She caught herself, straightening. "Not that I'm complaining. Marcus is everything an alpha should be." But Luna heard what her sister didn't say. "Everything except mine by choice." "Sometimes I wonder," Celeste said, so quietly Luna almost missed it, "if he even sees me, or if he just sees the beta's eldest daughter, the prophesied mate." Before Luna could respond, Celeste's mask snapped back into place. "The moon chose me," she said. "Harder now, and tomorrow, everyone will see I deserve it, especially you." She swept from the room, leaving Luna alone with the dress, and a strange pulling sensation in her chest that grew stronger with each passing hour. Outside, the moon was rising. Tomorrow, it would be full. The ceremony grounds pulsed with ancient magic. Every wolf in 3 territories had gathered to witness the union that would strengthen their bloodlines for generations. Luna stood behind her sister, holding the train of that perfect dress, trying to ignore how wrong everything felt. The pull in her chest had become almost unbearable, like invisible chains drawing tight around her ribs. Marcus waited at the altar in ceremonial black, and Luna could see the war in his body language. His jaw was clenched so tight she could hear his teeth grinding. His hands kept flexing into fists. His wolf was fighting him. She could smell it in the air, wild and barely controlled. Under the full moon's light, Elder Thorn began. "We witnessed the union blessed by fate itself." That's when their eyes met. The world exploded. Luna's vision went white as power surged through her entire being. She could feel Marcus's wolf howling in recognition, could taste his desperate hunger on her tongue. The mate bond snapped into place with such force that both of them staggered. "No, this is impossible." "Begin the marking," the elder commanded. Marcus was supposed to step forward, supposed to bite Celeste's neck in the ritual claiming. Instead, he stood frozen, every muscle trembling with the effort of not lunging toward Luna. "Marcus?" Celeste's voice pitched high with panic. "What's wrong?" His voice cracked. He tried again, stronger. The bond moved. The moon changed her mind. The silence that followed was deafening. Celeste turned slowly, following his gaze to where Luna stood, the train forgotten at her feet. And in that moment, watching realization dawn on her sister's face, Luna saw something break behind Celeste's eyes. "No," Celeste whispered, then screamed, "No, she's nothing. She's ordinary. She can't even shift properly. The moon doesn't make mistakes." Elder Thorn said heavily, though he looked shaken. "If the bond has chosen, then I invoke the old law," Celeste snarled, her voice going cold and decisive. "The challenge of proving." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even Marcus's eyes widened. "That law hasn't been used in over a century," someone whispered. "The right of mercy either," another added, "though that one's even older." Celeste's smile was all teeth. 3 trials: combat, endurance, sacrifice. If she fails, even one, the bond is considered false. Her eyes found Luna's. "Unless you'd prefer to run now, sister?" Luna felt Marcus's desperation through their new bond, his wolf raging against the ancient laws that bound them. But beneath her own terror, something else was stirring. That strange electricity she'd been feeling for weeks suddenly made sense. She wasn't ordinary at all. "I accept," Luna said, and her voice carried a resonance that made every wolf present shiver. "You don't know what you're accepting," Celeste said, but there was something frantic in her eyes now. As if she'd noticed what everyone else had, the way moonlight bent toward Luna, the way shadows seemed to pool at her feet. "Then teach me," Luna said simply. Marcus moved toward her, but Elder Thorn raised a hand. "The law forbids interference. She must face the trials alone." "One more step toward what's mine," Marcus growled, his eyes going gold. "And the moon will watch what I do to you." The threat hung heavy, but Luna touched his arm gently. The contact sent sparks through both of them, visible in the night air like silver fireflies. "I need to do this," she whispered. Marcus's control shattered for just a moment. He pulled her against him, his face buried in her hair, breathing her in like a drowning man gasping for air. "You don't even know what you are," he said, so low only she could hear. "What you're becoming." "Then I'll learn," she said. That night, while the pack prepared for the trials, Luna found herself in the archive with Elder Thorn. The old wolf watched her with calculating eyes. "Your mother," he said finally, "died birthing you." "I know that. Do you know why?" Luna's hands stilled on the ancient text she'd been reading. "Complications," Father said. "Your father lied." Thorn pulled out a leather journal, its pages yellow with age. "She died because you were born under a blood moon, born with the goddess's mark." Moon. Blessed wolves often kill their mothers coming into the world. Too much power for a normal wolf to birth. Luna's hands trembled as she took the journal. Inside, her mother's handwriting detailed strange dreams. Visions of a silver wolf with eyes like stars. "Celeste knows," Thorn continued. "Your father told her when she came of age, made her promise to protect you, to hide what you were until you were ready. But she," Luna's throat closed, "turned that protection into a cage, convinced herself she was the special one, the chosen one, while keeping you small." Thorn's eyes were sad. "Fear makes us cruel sometimes. And your sister has been afraid of you since the day you were born." The first trial came at dawn. Luna stood in the combat ring facing Roderick, a scarred warrior twice her size. The smart money was on, her lasting 30 seconds at most. "Begin," Elder Thorn called. Roderick lunged immediately, all brute force and crushing strength. But Luna found herself moving before conscious thought, her body flowing like water around his attacks. She wasn't stronger or faster. She was simply elsewhere, reading his intentions in the flex of muscle, the shift of weight. "Use your mind," she told herself. "That's your real weapon." When Roderick overextended on a particularly vicious swipe, Luna didn't try to match his strength. Instead, she grabbed his arm and used his own momentum to flip him, a move she'd seen but never attempted. He hit the ground hard, stunned. But it wasn't enough. He rose snarling. And this time when he charged, Luna felt that electricity surge through her veins. Her eyes went silver white, and moonlight, impossible in the morning sun, erupted from her skin. Roderick froze mid-lunge. his wolf recognizing something ancient, something that demanded submission. He dropped to his belly, throat bared. "First trial," Elder Thorn announced, his voice thick with awe, "goes to Luna." Marcus found her after sunset, washing Roderick's blood from her hands in the lake. They weren't supposed to speak, but he sat beside her anyway. "Rules be damned." "A moon-blessed wolf," he said quietly. "I suspected when your scent changed these past weeks. You smell like midnight and starlight." "Is that why the bond chose me?" Luna asked, unable to keep the hurt from her voice. "Because of what I am?" Marcus turned her face toward his thumb brushing her cheek. "The bond chose you because your soul calls to mine. The moon blessing is just power. What I love is your kindness despite cruelty, your strength, despite being told you're weak, your ability to see me, not the alpha, but the man who reads poetry when no one's looking and fears he'll never be more than his father's violence." Luna's breath caught. "You read poetry?" His smile was rueful. "Don't tell anyone. I have a reputation to maintain." For a moment, they simply existed together, the bond humming between them like a struck chord. Then Luna saw movement in the trees. Celeste, watching with eyes that held too much pain to be purely vengeful. "The second trial tomorrow," Luna said. "She'll make it brutal." "Silver chains," Marcus confirmed grimly. "You'll have to hold them from moonrise to moonset. The pain will be—" "I know." Luna had been reading about endurance trials. "But I've been holding pain my whole life. This is just a different kind." Marcus pulled her closer, his warmth seeping into her bones. "After this is over, I'm going to mate you properly. Mark you so thoroughly that everyone from here to the coast will smell me on you." Heat pooled in Luna's belly at his words, but she forced herself to focus. "Celeste won't stop. Even if I win, then we'll deal with her." His voice went hard, one way or another. "No." Luna pulled back to look at him. "She's my sister, and she's broken, Marcus. I can feel it through the moon blessing, her pain, her fear. She's been carrying the weight of that prophecy since birth, never allowed to be anything but perfect. You're defending someone who would watch you burn. I'm defending someone who was crushed by the same expectations that crushed me, just in a different way." Luna stood, water dripping from her fingers. "Tomorrow, after the second trial, I'm going to offer her something no one ever has." "What?" "A choice." The second trial was agony made manifest. Silver chains, blessed by the moon and cursed with wolfsbane, had to be held barehanded from moonrise to moonset. Every second was torture, the silver eating through Luna's palms like acid, the wolfsbane poisoning her blood. The pack watched in horrified silence. Some turned away, unable to bear witness. Others wept openly, as their moon-blessed wolf endured torture that would kill a normal shifter in minutes. Marcus had to be chained himself, his wolf completely feral as his mate's agony flooded through their bond. His roars shook the earth, his partial shifts breaking his bones over and over as he fought to reach her. Celeste circled Luna like a vulture, but her taunts grew quieter as the hours passed. She watched her sister's skin blister and peel, watched tears stream silently down Luna's face, and something in her expression began to crack. "Just let go," she whispered at one point, and it almost sounded like pleading. "Please, Luna, just let go." But Luna held on, and not through strength alone. As the pain reached crescendo, she began to speak, not to Celeste, but to the pack. "I know," she gasped, "what it's like to be nothing, to be less than, to watch others get what you deserve simply because of how you were born." Her eyes found Celeste's. "I also know what it's like to be everything, to carry expectations that crush your soul, to never be allowed to fail, to be weak, to be human." Blood dripped from her palms onto the sacred ground, and where it fell, silver flowers began to bloom. Impossible, beautiful, tragic. "We're all wounded," Luna continued, her voice growing stronger despite the agony. "By expectations, by prophecies, by the roles we're forced to play. But we don't have to stay wounded. We can choose to heal, to forgive, to become more than what we were told to be." When the moon finally set and the chains fell away, Luna collapsed into Marcus's arms. But she'd done more than endure. She'd transformed the trial into a lesson, the torture into teaching. That night, as Marcus tended her ruined hands with tears in his eyes, Celeste came to their cabin. "The third trial," she said, but her voice lacked its earlier venom. "I've chosen it." Marcus tensed, ready for violence, but Celeste's next words stopped him cold. "You must choose," she told Luna. "Fight me to the death. Leave the pack forever. Or—" She paused. Something vulnerable, flickering, across her face, invoked the right of mercy. Luna sat up straighter. The right of mercy, the ancient right that had been mentioned in passing, dismissed as archaic. It would allow both sisters to face the moon's judgment directly. The one found wanting would lose their wolf forever. "You know about it," Luna said softly. "Mother's journal," Celeste admitted. "She wrote about it, said it was the only trial that truly showed someone's heart." Her voice broke slightly. "I need to know, Luna. I need to know if this hatred is me or if it's what I was made to be." "Celeste." "I'm tired," her sister said simply. "Tired of being perfect, tired of being cruel, tired of being afraid of my own sister. So tomorrow, we let the moon judge us both. And maybe—" She trailed off, then forced herself to finish. "Maybe I'll finally be free." The final night brought every wolf from 5 territories. Word of the right of mercy had spread like wildfire. No one living had seen it invoked. Luna and Celeste stood in the sacred circle as the full moon rose impossibly bright. No weapons, no shifting until the goddess allowed it. Just 2 sisters and the truth between them. "I hated you," Celeste began, circling slowly. "From the moment you were born, Father told me you were special, dangerous, that I had to protect the pack from you. But really, I was protecting myself." She lunged, but it was half-hearted, telegraphed. Luna deflected easily. "Every time you were kind despite my cruelty, every time you smiled when I tried to break you, you proved you were stronger than me." Celeste's voice cracked. "The prophecy said the strongest would mate the alpha. I thought that meant power. But you showed strength I could never understand." "You were a child," Luna said gently, dodging another strike, "forced to carry burdens no child should bear. So were you." Celeste screamed, tears streaming down her face. "But you didn't let it make you monstrous." That's when Luna surprised everyone. Instead of dodging the next blow, she stepped into it, letting Celeste's fist connect with her jaw. The crack echoed across the clearing. "What are you doing?" Celeste gasped. Luna spat blood and smiled sadly. "What you need me to do. Fight back. Hurt you. Give you a reason to hate me that isn't just fear." She struck Celeste across the face, the blow sending her sister sprawling. "Get up," Luna said coldly. "You want a monster? I'll give you one." Celeste rose slowly, confusion in her eyes. Luna struck her again and again, each blow precise and painful, but not debilitating. "Is this what you wanted?" Luna asked, her voice empty of emotion. "To make me like you? Cruel and violent and everything our father wanted us to be?" "Stop," Celeste whispered. "Why? This is what strength looks like, isn't it? Another blow. This is what wins. This is what the prophecy meant." "Stop," Celeste screamed. "This isn't you." Luna froze, her fist an inch from her sister's face. "No," she said softly. "It isn't. And it isn't you either, Celeste. Not the real you." That's when the temperature plummeted. Moonlight condensed into form, and suddenly the goddess stood before them, beautiful and terrible, ancient and young, wearing every face and none. "Show me your hearts," she commanded, and both sisters gasped as their souls were laid bare. From Luna poured silver light, compassion despite cruelty, strength through gentleness, love without condition. But threaded through it was pain, doubt, the constant question of whether she was enough. From Celeste came purple-black flames, jealousy and rage, yes, but beneath it, crushing fear. Fear of failure, fear of being unloved, fear that without the prophecy, she was nothing. "I see," the goddess said, and her voice held infinite sadness. 2 daughters, both wounded by expectation, both believing they had to be what others demanded. She approached Celeste, who fell to her knees, sobbing. "You were never meant to be perfect," the goddess said gently. "You were meant to be human." The dark flames around Celeste began to change, lightening to purple, then lavender, then silver white. The jealousy burned away, leaving only the frightened girl beneath. "And you," the goddess turned to Luna, "were never meant to be less than. You were meant to show that strength comes in many forms." She gestured, and both sisters rose. The bond between Luna and Marcus is true, written in the stars before either was born. But Celeste, your destiny was never to be his mate. It was to learn a harder lesson. "What lesson?" Celeste whispered. "That love cannot be prophesied, that strength cannot be performed, that worth cannot be inherited." The goddess touched Celeste's forehead, and she gasped. "Your wolf remains, but changed. You will walk the borderlands, protecting those who cannot protect themselves. In service, find purpose. In humility, find strength. In choosing your own path, find freedom." Celeste nodded, tears streaming down her face. She turned to Luna. "I'm sorry. For everything." "I know," Luna said, pulling her sister into an embrace. "I forgave you before you asked." As they held each other, the goddess placed a hand on Luna's shoulder. "Your mercy will leave a mark," she warned, and Luna felt burning on her chest, right over her heart. When she looked down, a moon-shaped scar was forming, silver and permanent. "You chose to take your sister's pain into yourself. That sacrifice will remain with you always." "I accept," Luna said firmly. The goddess smiled, a sad, proud expression, and dissipated like mist. As the moon's light faded back to normal, Marcus was there, pulling Luna into his arms with desperate relief. She could feel his wolf through their bond, wild with the need to claim, to mark, to make her irrevocably his. "My Luna," he growled against her throat, and she shivered at the possession in his voice. "My moon, chosen mate." "Forever?" she asked, though she knew the answer. "Forever," he promised, and his teeth found her throat in the claiming bite that sealed their bond completely. The pack erupted in howls of celebration, but Luna barely heard them. She was drowning in Marcus, his scent, his thoughts, his absolute devotion flooding through their completed bond. When she bit him in return, marking him as hers, his growl of satisfaction shook the earth. Later, as the pack celebrated, and Celeste prepared for her journey to the borderlands, Luna stood with Marcus on the highest point of their territory. The moon hung above them, serene and eternal. "Your scar," Marcus traced the silver mark over her heart. "Does it hurt?" "It reminds me," Luna said, "that mercy isn't weakness, that taking on someone else's pain is sometimes the strongest thing you can do." Marcus pulled her closer, his chin resting on her head. "The pack will tell this story for generations. The Luna who chose mercy over vengeance." "Let them tell Celeste's story too," Luna said. "The woman who chose redemption over pride. That takes its own kind of courage." In the distance, they could see Celeste's form disappearing into the forest, but she walked tall, unburdened for the first time in her life. The moon lit her path, a blessing and a guide. "What happens now?" Luna asked. Marcus turned her in his arms, his eyes glowing with promise. "Now you learn what it means to be Luna, to be mine, to be moon-blessed." His voice dropped to a growl. "Starting with letting me worship every inch of you until you forget any pain that came before." Heat pooled in Luna's belly, but she pulled back slightly. "And your violence? Your reputation for brutality?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I vow to you, here under the moon that chose you for me, I will never kill without judgment again, never strike without cause. You've shown me strength doesn't require cruelty." Luna reached up to touch his face, and he leaned into her palm, like a wolf seeking comfort. "We'll lead differently," she said, "with wisdom and mercy alongside strength. The other alphas will think us weak, Let them come test that theory. Luna's eyes flashed silver, and Marcus laughed, wild and free. There's my Luna, he said proudly, gentle as moonlight, fierce as the goddess herself. As they stood together, the moon pulsed once overhead, a final blessing, a celestial approval of all that had transpired. Luna felt the last piece of her transformation click into place. She wasn't the overlooked sister anymore, wasn't the ordinary one. She was moon-blessed. She was chosen. She was exactly where she belonged. And somewhere in the borderlands, Celeste looked up at the same moon and smiled, not the sharp, cruel smile of before, but something genuine and free. The prophecy had been fulfilled after all, just not as anyone expected. The strongest had claimed the alpha. The strongest had simply been the one who chose mercy over might, love over law, and found power not in perfection, but in the brave decision to remain soft in a harsh world. The moon, in its infinite wisdom, had known all along,